Take their seat. We're going to be starting right now. So, this is the Committee of the Whole. We're in City Council chambers. It's Tuesday, January 28th, 2025. It's starting 15 minutes late due to technical difficulties. And this meeting will be broadcast live via YouTube at the City of Morgantown YouTube. Note, Committee of the Whole meetings of the Morgantown City Council are intended to provide an opportunity for the council to receive information, ask questions, and identify policy options in an informal setting. No official action is taken at these meetings. At this Committee of the Whole meeting, the following matters are scheduled, and we're starting off with a presentation from the WVU Hospital's Eye Institute project. And if you all would just come up and begin. We appreciate the ability to collaborate with you all on this project.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, that's fine. Basically, we yeah, go ahead and hold it up. We are developing a new eye institute. The current eye institute we are definitely growing out of and need to expand it. So we are looking to build right on the corner of our property. And then it's a 4-story building. It will have 2 floors of clinics. The 3rd floor will be ORs to support the eye program as well. And then the 4th floor will have research as well as administrative offices. We are also building a deck right adjacent to it that will have about 1,000 parking spots in it. To support the building, as well as we're taking over a lot that we are using currently for parking, so it's a combination of for staff parking as well as for support for the building. Longer term, this is a make way. We're looking at building a cancer hospital where the eye center currently is. That's down the road in the future, and so this would be the first step of a couple big programs that we're looking at developing for the campus. I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys would have.
Do you have other views that you want to show us and anything else?
So this is looking to come up down 75. You can kind of see where it's looking. So this is kind of where you can kind of see where you got a bank sitting right here, which just sticks out generally with the glass, and you can see the institute. There's a bridge that's going to connect the 3rd and 4th levels. So that is your patients can go from their whatever they're practicing going doctors while they go right to that level of the parking deck for safety purposes. And the deck is sitting in front of J2. So if you guys are driving down Southern 5 or Van Boers, you'll see that concrete wall across from Applebee's. This is going to be behind that in that parking lot. That makes sense to you.
And where is the fire department?
Fire department is behind that bridge. So basically, I can get you a better view, but this is another view of it, driving into it. To help illustrate where the parking deck, this pipe will help.
And that's going to be tall enough that the fire trucks can get under it?
Yes.
That's what I've heard.
Minimum 16.5 feet, I think we have 18, so we use the standards by the Department of Highways. Originally to be 16.5 feet of clearance, so we made sure we met that, and we were able to get in that. So
where's the entrance to the parking?
So there's a couple ways to get into the parking. One way is, the goal was have you can come up to the stoplight, like you're going to the Mountain Air Station and enter into the parking deck there. Patrons can come in off of Van Boers and turn into a canopy that will drop them off the drop-off. Then our goal was for them to go into the parking deck and park, and then go back to the hospital and meet their patients they dropped off. And then when you're done, if you're in a situation, if your patient come outside, they can get in their car and just leave out by the stoplight. But as you know, you're going to an eye institute, so you probably shouldn't be driving. So ideally, you need to pick them back up again. So we made a loop back around, and then come back and pick you up and leave. One thing I want to point out, here's the fire department. The road coming in is way wider than the existing one. We're made it 36 foot wide, and we dedicated a fire lane only. So it's striped, so when the fire sirens go off, they have a dedicated lane to get out. No one's going to be in that lane. There's no reason to be in at all. So we accommodate that for the fire department particularly because we don't want anyone stopping them, obviously.
No.
We also have loading docks in the back that serve the institute. So we made some additional space for us to pull in and back in. But overall, I think in my opinion, we are benefiting the road, making it wider and more accessible for the fire department and for other citizens that are using that area. Just for conversation while we're talking, just so you guys understand, right now, the building commission knows what's in the yellow in this area here. As part of the property swap, we are swapping the yellow for the red. And then your new building commission property would be that dark black outline. Make sense?
This
Yeah, so-
outline.
Yeah, so the yellow is what is part of your guys' now. That's your property now. We're swapping the yellow for the red. So you guys are in the red now. And then everything in that heavy black line would be the building commission. It's essentially the new access road. But obviously the hospital is using that to get to our facility and the parking deck.
Do you anticipate having an employee who would help in, like a parking attendant kind of thing, that would help enforce the no parking or blocking the fire lane? Because, I mean, we all know how well that works in front of Kroger and stuff, right? Like,
Good point. There is going to be a guard shack
There's the guard, yeah.
coming into the right in the front. They're going to enter to go into it. We will, obviously, this is for the hospital visitors and for, so we want to, you can say this, we want to keep outside people out, particularly students. Everything else. So there will be a guard shack there that could keep an eye on that pretty easily. It's right visible right to it.
So what questions might we have?
I think we've been pretty much briefed on the road
Yeah?
and the exchange of property. It's curious to see the actual physical rendering of the building. It's a little different than what I imagined, but very contemporary.
Looks good. What's
All
what are you guys thinking about doing with the old building, the old Eye Institute?
What's that now?
What are you thinking about doing with the old building, the
That was
old Eye
the
Institute?
cancer center?
The old eye center?
Mhm.
The old eye center is going to be torn down, and that's where the future cancer hospital.
Oh,
will be.
okay, gotcha.
It's down the road, but
Okay.
They just slipped that in there.
we're just starting some programming on it to figure out how big it's going to be. Ways down the road yet.
I don't know if this consideration or, I mean, just like speaking from personal experience, so I visited the Eye Institute quite a bit for a while, and I couldn't drive, or shouldn't have been driving, and I would walk back to the bus terminal. It's fairly close. It's pretty not a good idea to even be walking through that roundabout though, and especially eyes dilated and everything else. I just maybe if there's an opportunity, you're so close to that bus terminal, just to have the bus like swing through it, maybe one bus or something like that, one route, just to swing through it, because I did have I had a lot of issues getting to the bus, but then and I've talked with Mountain Line about this before, but then figuring out I couldn't read the sign, so it's I just have to ask the bus driver which route are you going this way, and so the thing I was thinking of is just that it may be helpful to have maybe the hospital staff that are there to help people understand what route they're getting on, or that's the bus they need to get on, if there was a bus swinging through there. It's just a personal thing that happened with me, and maybe especially being that close to the terminal, there could be an opportunity there. But yeah,
One thing I want to bring up, it's hard to see on here, but we did make sure that all the sidewalks along Van Forest do come into our facility. So there's a direct connection pedestrian-wise from both parking deck and the facility to get back to the Van Forest sidewalk. So it's all continuous, the ADA, but that's something, may not answer totally your question, but if you did come out, you do have a pedestrian path to the main sidewalks.
That's
if you want
great.
to walk to.
it would definitely have been a better walk to this then. Yeah, so that's great.
Yeah, all through that space, the more walkable, the better. Up around the roundabout has some issues about how to get through that walking. And we're both in the neighborhoods that are adjacent. So that's why he's the 7th Ward, which is directly adjacent, and then I'm the part behind Krebs Park and also Evansdale. So when people want to access it on foot and not use one of your parking spaces and leave it for someone else, it is very appreciated if you can make it walkable.
Absolutely.
It's one of the cool things about having a hospital inside of a city.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And with the cancer center, the roundabout's actually going to move and change, so we'll be improving it.
Well, the more that it's odd, you can almost get through it easily, but then it just isn't quite right. So
I agree.
we could learn.
We can always improve, definitely.
So will Elmer Prince still be where the bank, coming into the bank,
Mhm.
the roadway behind?
Yeah.
Yes.
That
That'll
road's still
still
there.
be
Yep.
accessible?
Yep. That'll make-
Yeah, there's nothing changing on it. Actually, it's going to stay that way through construction. Current fire department, it's nothing's changing on that.
Yep.
A little bit of a paving and stuff like that, the back utilities, but nothing.
And the health department will stay there?
Yeah, everything
Yes.
stays, we're not actually bothering anything. We're taking the police station, and that's probably the biggest thing you'll see change. That's still standing today. And then, but the main, the access right back off of Elmer Prince, nothing's changing there. They're just working some utilities for the location.
Do you have an anticipation date for starting?
Probably sometime in February to get fences up and start getting going on it.
How long is it going to take to build?
We're publicly saying 30 months, but it'll probably be less than that.
Are there plans for the police station?
The police station, we purchased their property. They are looking, WVU is looking at options, and I think they've came up with one, but I'm not sure exactly where they're locating it.
Very good, thank you.
Anybody else?
Thanks a lot for coming.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
Yep.
This is going to be great for our community.
Really looking forward to seeing it complete.
I've been invited to it.
Yes. Yes, I know our family had a eye injury at the middle school, which is nearby, and could come there and get immediate attention and go to the hospital and get immediate attention. It was very helpful. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you. Main Street Morgantown update. Eric Carlson, Vice President, Main Street Morgantown. Look at that,
Ryan did IT for the Bow Park meeting this month. He's
right
He
there.
knows what he's doing.
His hourly rate goes up with IT.
Where
I
do
think
we
good
stand
IT
on
is probably more
going to
expensive
the Royal
than a good
Rumble?
attorney.
On what?
Where do we stand on going to the Royal Rumble?
The Royal Rumble.
Where do we stand on that?
I'm in favor, sir.
Why, that's where you're from?
Is it in Columbus?
No, wait.
Oh, no, it's in Indy this year.
Yeah. Didn't you say you knew somebody?
No, I lived in, I'll check with the mayor of West Lafayette and get those tickets for you. sir.
There we go.
Cam wants to go too. just a heads up.
Please.
The Royal Rumble.
I can see James get his first win in the second.
Royal Rumble?
It's on Saturday. I don't think it's gonna.
Wow, well,
But don't forget WrestleMania's coming, so you just gotta keep hoping. Look, it's coming to India.
Real quick, while Ryan's doing that, I wanted to, a little over a week ago, on this last large snowfall we had, I shot a text message to Damien when I was taking my dog out, and about 8:45, a plow came around my street, and I just wanted to thank him for everything that the team's been doing. I know that January has been just storm after storm after storm, and I was very appreciative of the work that the city has been doing to keep the roads clear. And about an hour later, he texted me back and asked what street it was, because he said it might have been him. He'd been out plowing since 8:30 that morning, so for 13 hours, the interim city manager was outside white knuckling the snowfall event, and I was.
It wasn't me on his record.
No, it was not. But I just wanted to
but he was
express-
out there.
Yes, and I just think that that's very impressive that, not only is he city engineer, head of public works, and now interim city manager, but out there with working the plows, and I'm very grateful for all of that.
Look at that.
All right, let me get to full screen.
I'm not making too much noise. I feel like I'm really loud. One sec.
All right. I'm Eric Carlson with the Morgantown Area Partnership and Main Street Morgantown, and wanted to come and give an annual update on the comings and goings and happenings with Main Street Morgantown. So here's just our 2024 year in review. And in '24, our executive committee was Mark Donald as president, Grace Hutchins as vice president, Jessica McDonald as treasurer, and Steve Bennett as our secretary. And things will be a little bit different in '25 as we welcome 2 new members of the executive committee. Andrew White of Andrew White Guitars is our new president. Charlie McEwen of Tanner's Alley Leather Design Studio is our vice president. And Jessica and Steve are retaining their positions as treasurer and secretary. And we're really looking forward to working with them this year. All right. In 2024, it was the 40th anniversary of Main Street Morgantown, and it was our hope that we'd be able to have 40 events for those 40 years of Main Street Morgantown. And, in fact, we had 51 events, which was an increase of 45% over 2023. And with that, we're able to do it because of the recently launched affiliate events program. That included the Pride Block Party, Art Lab, the Handmade Market, all the Moonlight Markets, and the Summertime Cruise-Ins on High Street. And what the Main Street Morgantown affiliate program is, it's an opportunity for us to help lower barriers for the cool people that want to do fun things in our community, whether it's downtown or the wharf, to be able to have events and to bring people into the heart of our community. And I say it's, for the cool people to do fun things, because I'm 43 years old. I'm not cool anymore. I'm not fun.
Hey.
But there's so many people here that are.
You're very cool.
Thank you, Mayor. I greatly appreciate that. And we're able to help those people lower those barriers by doing 3 different categories that we assist in. We lower barriers by providing equipment, whether it's tables, sound equipment, pop-up tents, chairs, the like. This is a photo of the affiliate event closet inside the Main Street Morgantown office at the partnership that they're available to the people that are part of the affiliate program. It doesn't seem like much, but that's probably $1,000 worth of tables right there. And if you want to have an event, it's a lot of money to put up front, and to have those tables, store those tables, do all of that. And so we created this closet. We're going to continue growing it so that people can have events, and people can have events at the same time as each other, because the more that's happening in our downtown, the better. We also work with them on marketing communications. We use our social media channels. We help with advertising. We help with press release distributions. One of the things we're going to start this year is we have good relationships with local media outlets, and as a 501c3 that's already established, we have the ability to place ads and place them at a slightly lower rate. And so we will work with affiliates if they want to place ads through us, that we will, every dollar they give for ads, we will place in and around the community to help them and really make it an easier thing for them to have events that are happening in our community. We also offer logistical support, permitting, meter bagging, road closures, and coordination with first responders. We can help be a conduit to that. We have helped be a conduit with all of that. And so does that mean Main Street Morgantown is out of the events business itself? No. And this would have worked a lot better.
That mouse is very finicky.
There we go. No, we're very much a part of still doing our own events. We have the Small Business Saturday, the Downtown Trick or Treat, the West Virginia Birthday Party. That's a little bit more of a proud gubernatorial looking logo on the birthday party than maybe the other ones, but we're doing a lot with that. Come on, buddy. Come on. Okay. But we also do the Arts Walk. The original plan this past year was to do 2 Arts Walks. We ended up stretching that to 6, thanks to a grant that we were able to get through the state's Arts Council, and working with local artists to help with the Arts Walk. And that's something we'll be continuing here in 2025. And we also had the Downtown Dash, the inaugural Downtown Dash. And this is Dash the Dog. We tried to come up with different names for it. We figured Dash the Dog was a little bit better than Prance the Poodle or something like that. But what Downtown Dash was an opportunity that was noticed in 2023, where there were 3 pop-up markets that were occurring in downtown at the same time. And Amy, who we work with at the Morgantown Area Partnership and had focused a lot on Main Street, met with the people that were putting on those 3 markets and said, hey, is there a way that we can coordinate around that for next year? And so that's what happened in 2024. Not only did we advertise and have those markets come together as far as saying this is the date we're going to be on, this is what we're planning for it, they also devised a way to ensure that people coming down for those would be incentivized to go into the local businesses. And that's where the Dash came out. We had 20 participating locations, and we ended up doing a scavenger hunt where Dash the Dog logo was placed in each of those 20 participating locations, with the thought that if you go in, you find Dash, you get a stamp, and then you turn in your card that you're eligible for prizes from all of the participating locations. And what we wanted to do, Prance versus Dash, we didn't want to have too many required stamps because we didn't want people sprinting between the stores. We wanted people going, spending time, and hopefully committing commerce in those locations. And that is exactly what happened. We are recently subscribing to a platform called Placer AI that shows on December 14th this year of the Downtown Dash, we had 7,200 visitors in our downtown. And you'll see on the next slide that those 7,200 people spent an average of 150 minutes in the downtown between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. of the Downtown Dash, so 2.5 hours. And that turned into 58 completed cards, which, given those 2 numbers, seems pretty low. But if you were out there, and I know a few of you were that day, you would see a large group of people carrying 1 card. You'd see families out there carrying 1 card. And we saw a lot of people pick up cards that didn't turn them back in. But of those 58, more than 40%, around 40% of those cards had more than the required 5 stamps. And that equated to 379 store visits. And our new vice president, Charlie McEwen of Tanner's Alley, I went down and visited him with about an hour 15 left in that day, and I asked him how it went. And he said, and this was the best Saturday leading up to Christmas I've had in my 48 years worth of business. And we were able to do that because you see on there that this was sponsored by Breeze Line. We had a great partnership with Breeze Line for the Downtown Dash and hit the airwaves with every single penny that they gave us for sponsorship of this. We turned into ads on local radio and in the newspaper to make sure that people knew Downtown Dash was happening, also obviously on our social media channels. And when you look at the numbers per Placer AI of last year's pop-up market, which was Saturday, December 16th of 2023, that had 6,800 people in town. But that was also the same weekend as the fall commencement. This year, 2024, we did not do that on fall commencement, knowing that, hey, if we're going to plan around it, let's plan when we're already expecting a lot of people in downtown. So we had 7,200 people downtown. On the following weekend, which was fall commencement, we had 5,200 people come into the downtown. So to be able to have 17,000 people up at the Coliseum, many of them are going to come downtown and enjoy and be a part of our community when they're in town. But then to be able to beat those numbers on a weekend that we're not having an event like that, it was just something that blew us away. And it's something that not only would we expect to be seeing another Downtown Dash this upcoming holiday season 2025, but it's something we're looking at replicating multiple times throughout the year. And in 2024 and 25, we welcome some new team members to Main Street Morgantown. On the left is Ava Vavrick, who's actually been with Main Street Morgantown predating when it became part of the partnership, but earlier this month she came on full-time after graduating from WVU in December. Also in the top right is Cam, who is pointing at Dash there at Newton Howe, and in the lower right is some other gentleman who talks a lot. And then I just wanted to include this picture because it's WBOI posted this on Small Business Saturday, and it just makes Cam look like a menace downtown. So we're working on softening his image.
No way, that picture should be in black and white, so people would be like, what's he thinking?
Morgantown. But it's also, it's indicative of where you're most of the time going to be able to find Cam. Because it's one of the things that we want to make sure we're doing, not only with events like this, but in general, is we want to be seen. We want the merchants of the Main Street Morgantown footprint, which is the downtown of the Wharf area, to know we're out, we're about, we want to listen to them, we want to drive people to them. And that's what our events have been all about. And
Cam, you don't like that picture? I'm sorry.
I think
that's a really cool picture.
Yeah, that's record
It
album.
is really tough for me, but for business.
So you need to approach the microphone, please.
Sorry.
It reminds me of a noir commercial, so I like it.
I'm being delayed.
We also, here in the next week, are expecting results on the downtown perception survey. As you may recall, through early December, we had this out and around many areas through downtown, sent out through a lot of other outlets as well, and had more than 1,200 responses to the perception survey. Our friends at the Public Policy Institute at WVU are crunching those numbers for us. Got a little bit of a preview at the end of last week. We expect to see more here this week or next.
This survey still open for?
No, it closed, closed last month. And also coming in 2025, you'll see some new logos. They're actually under there, but I covered them up. They're approved by our board last month, and we're going to be rolling them out here in the next few weeks. So we're looking forward to that. And I'm happy to take any questions.
All right, who has some good questions? Apparently, we all love Main Street Morgantown and your presentation, and it was very complete.
Well, thank you. We just want to talk to Andrew White, our new president, sent this request that he was unable to be here this evening. But one of the things that we're focusing a lot on, as I mentioned in there, being out and about, being present with our merchants, and doing what we can through programs like this to make sure that we have more people in our downtown more frequently, and that they're able to spend their money locally. And we're very, very appreciative of the support that we've gotten from the city of Morgantown in the past, and hope for more in the future. And thank you all for your time.
I like your pairing of Charlie and Andrew.
I'm a
It's
fan.
you
I'm
know,
a fan.
it's just a nice, there's some balance there.
Yes.
Thank you, I think it was great.
Thank you.
Anything else? All right, we love our downtown. Now, the moment we have all been waiting for, WVU SGA Safety Walk. And if you all, when you come up, would introduce yourselves, that would be super appreciated.
I think we have a presentation too. I don't know if it's long
Do you have it on removable media or no?
Yeah, I have it. I have it pulled up right here. Once I move forward,
Did you get it?
city manager, I believe.
I got the names and
Or more detailed than they have been before. And so just in this presentation today, we're going to discuss some of our key findings, as well as the results of our student accessibility and safety survey. And then I also wanted to note, one of the reasons why we've held off until January this time is because we wanted to pass a resolution through with WVSGA. So on the 11th of December, WVSGA passed an assembly resolution to encourage WVU administration and local officials to address the concerns identified in the fall 2024 Safety and Accessibility Walk.
So as you can see, we had quite a few participants in both of our locations. We had about 12 student government members. We had Chuck Roberts, Ron Justice, Matthew Cross, Misha Poor, Sherry St. Clair, Drew Gatlin, Sam Miller, John Hando, John Parley, Carrie Showalter, Pat Bonafield, and Courtney Lanham. As Mimi mentioned earlier, some of these were from the city, some of these people were from WVU. And we just had a whole plethora of people come to give different perspectives on different things we should be looking out for, different reasonings for different, the ways that like the sidewalks are engineered. There was a lot that I personally learned about through different coordinators and different maintenance staff. And then, so some of the partners that we have, we decided to separate this from the people that actually came and participated on this walk. These were the people that we spoke to for guidance. So we had Trish, Corey Ferris, April, Cole, and then Shauna Johnson. These people were so incredibly helpful as far as coordinating, learning more who to talk to, who can give us the best advice and information.
Okay, and then to break into those focus areas a little bit more, I think we did Sunnyside last year. We did the same, we used the same picture, and I think that Matthew Oliverio just drew that up last year, but it worked perfect because it's the exact same area we used. So the Sunnyside area goes from the Life Sciences building on campus up till 6th Street, and then also from Beechhurst up to University Avenue, so it formed a nice little rectangle there. And then the Health Science campus, we focused on WVU property specifically around the actual campus where students are at a lot. So basically we were just trying to keep it into the areas where there's heavy foot traffic for students.
I do just want to jump in really quickly, sorry. So we started at the PRT station on Health Sciences, and then we looped around north and south. We didn't really go into the hospital parking lots in those areas. You can kind of see on the map, the Children's Hospital is that black part that's kind of off to the side a little bit. But so we really focused on the actual school buildings where people mostly have classes in HSC North and South. So some of the general takeaways that we found were there was a lot of sidewalk maintenance that needs to be done, especially on that Sunnyside campus. Grant, McLean, Campus Drive, Fifth Avenue, and then a couple of the HSC areas. Grant was the worst as far as sidewalks. All along Grant, we had a lot of different reports on crumbling sidewalks, cracked sidewalks, such stuff like that. And then HSC was mostly crumbling sidewalks, not necessarily cracked. Significant sidewalk damage is super notable because not only is it a tripping hazard, but it is an accessibility restraint. I noticed when I was on the HSC walk that, those little bumpies that are on the ramp part of the sidewalk, we were missing a lot of those. And then it is important to note the lighting improvements that we found on Sunnyside that needed to be done. Some of those lightings, the light posts are a little bit older and need repaired. They're just out for whatever reason. And then there were a few crosswalks that could be repainted, improvements for those, especially in those heavy traffic areas, such as on Beechhurst, near State on campus. That's a lot of students live there and they're crossing the street and there's no sidewalk or crosswalk, excuse me.
Yeah, so we'll break in, actually, first, let me explain these categories a little bit more. So from the Quick Capture app, it breaks down your reports into 5 categories: accessibility, lighting, sidewalks, crossing, and then an other category. So as you can see, our sidewalks is huge. There's my numbers on there. But there was 6 accessibility reports, 6 lighting reports, 29 sidewalk reports, 5 crossing reports, and then 27 other reports. For lighting, I just did want to note that I think the reason we might have had less reports there is we didn't stay until it was pitch black outside. We did stay till it got darker because we knew that we wanted to kind of address those concerns. But if lighting would have changed as it got super dark, we might be missing reports there. And then obviously you'll see the sidewalks are a big theme. They already have been, so that's why that category is huge. And then our other category also with 27 reports is pretty big. The other category we think just became a catch-all if they weren't sure where else to report. It was a lot of students we didn't get to give the best explanation beforehand before we all dispersed. So I know whenever I was going through it, there was some things in the other category that probably could have fallen into lighting or accessibility. So, but then to break down those selected priorities a little bit within the Sunnyside area. So the number one thing that we have, and I think that they reported this last year as well, was an accessibility report for a pedestrian crossing button that's broken at a really big intersection. So this is the intersection where University Avenue meets Campus Drive, which turns into Stewart Street. So that's right by the Life Sciences building, Mountaineer Place Apartments. I think Bombay's right there. That basically is an intersection that connects all of the people who live up Stewart Street, all of the people who live in Sunnyside, and even students who live in Beechhurst to the downtown campus. And so for all of those crossing buttons to be out there, it's pretty notable concern just because it's so busy for students to be crossing. I know I personally walk through that intersection like 4 times a day, and it's been broken for at least a year and a half. So I know that that's just a pretty big concern. And then for lighting, kind of like Kate said already, Grant Avenue along the full length, there was multiple lighting requests, as well as on McLean Avenue. I'm not sure if the issue there was just missing light bulbs or broken lights, or if additional lighting could be put in. And then for the sidewalk and crossing reports in the Sunnyside area, again, like Kate said, Grant Avenue was an area of big concern for us. That's that top picture. That's actually a better picture of what the sidewalks look like on Grant Avenue. There was some spots of that road where you can't even tell that there's supposed to be a sidewalk there. I think that was in another report, just an entire section where it looks like grass and it's supposed to be sidewalk. So that was something that we were concerned about, as well as Kate also mentioned on Beechhurst, where 3rd Street intersects. I think that's right where this rectangular building is, which is State on-Campus Apartments. There's no crosswalk there, and there was a request for an additional crosswalk to be put in. I believe the closest crosswalk is kind of up the street out of the way a little bit, so that's just another area where a lot of students live in State and then in the buildings all around. And then another place where there's lots of foot traffic is right across the street from the Life Sciences building in front of Campus Lofts, which I think used to be Friend Rentals until a couple months ago, I think, honestly. So basically, if you live in any of the halls in Sunnyside, Honors, Summit, Seneca, we like to cross and cheat and go through the Life Sciences building to get to our classes downtown. And so there's a lot of foot traffic, like I said, right there. And that happens to be, that sidewalk's pretty damaged.
So as far as the accessibility reports, a lot of these numbers were drawn from health sciences, which you would not expect because it is the hospital. But around Children's, there was a few of those detectable warning systems that are causing danger with those of disabilities. I spoke about those a little bit earlier. The sidewalk ramps where, you can see if you're blind or disabled where the sidewalk ends. There's a lot of unstable railing reports, especially by HSC South. There's a ramp near the market, which has the Chick-fil-A and all those. A lot of people eat there that work or go to school there. And then by HSC North, there's a set of stairs leading up from that. There's a parking lot, and then it leads up to the ground floor of HSC North. They're really loose, so those definitely need to be looked at. And then we have our sidewalk and crossing reports, specifically HSC. The general sidewalk repair requests that we spoke about a little bit earlier, cracked, uneven sidewalks, definitely tripping hazards. Most of these are in the ADA lots around the Irma Bird Biomedical Research Center. It's kind of in the back of HSC, near HSC North. And then a repair request for the sidewalk by the stairs leading up to HSC North from the ground floor to the parking lot. Spoke about that just a second ago, where the side or the railing is loose.
So then, along with our safety walk, we also did a safety and accessibility survey with students. We repeated the same questions that we gave out last year in hopes that we could see how those numbers might have improved. Our numbers actually stayed pretty much the same whenever I was recalculating them for this. The responses from this survey this year, they were pretty similar to what they were last year. So just really quickly to go through those, 81.8% of respondents said that safety and accessibility were either important or very important in their decision to continue coming to school and living in Morgantown. 45.5% of students felt either somewhat unsafe in the city at night or very unsafe in the city at night. So I think that number was above majority last year, so we did see at least a couple percentage points of a decrease in that. And then 69.7% of respondents felt that there were not enough well-lit and maintained sidewalks in the city. So again, with the sidewalks, another point about those. And then 42.4% of respondents rated accessibility and convenience in Morgantown as fair. 30.3% of respondents said it was poor, and 21.2% reported it as good. However, on a positive note, 63.6% of respondents felt that there were enough convenient and affordable transportation options in the city. And then I wanted to note here that the survey was sent out before the Mountain Line Pass program, which I'm not sure if that was directed at students, but in my research from that, I didn't see any reason why students couldn't participate in that program if they needed it, so I would like to see how that might impact that. And then that's just the QR code if you wanted to get the Quick Capture app. You don't have to be on a safety walk to do it. You can always get it and report things anytime you see, and it'll go into the database.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. So Ron did send the presentation to myself and the interim city manager, but there was like a conversation between you all, so I apologize. I should have forwarded that with nothing else, because it was like 4 emails below. As I kept scrolling, I found the link.
Okay.
So I take full responsibility. I'm sorry.
That's
I just
okay.
forwarded it to everybody, so they all have it now.
Okay. Thank you. That's okay.
I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
I apologize to you all for not getting it to you sooner. I didn't notice that that's where the link was.
You fixed it now.
I just want to note in that specific presentation, there might be a difference in the HSC routes that we took. We originally had a different one, and then after speaking with somebody that knew a little bit better than I did, we changed it so it was mostly on that WVU property that we really wanted to hit on.
Yeah, that's something that I also will pick up off of. A lot of the people who we had come and participate in the safety walk were super, super helpful. I believe it was Matthew Cross, the chairperson for the pedestrian safety board. He was awesome. He was in my group in the Sunnyside area, and I was like, wow, he knows everything there is to know about these sidewalks. So it was definitely very beneficial to have him there. And then Drew Gatlin as well. We wanted to give a big thanks to him.
100%. I couldn't have done this without Drew, and same with Matthew last year. Couldn't have done it without Drew. He's really the driving force behind all of this, always, every year.
Well, super appreciate you all coming.
Thank you. And then we'll probably be back with the spring one soon.
Yeah,
Please.
we will.
We welcome you whenever you come, and
I feel like the spring one will have snow related.
Yeah, it probably will.
hopefully should.
Yeah.
Ice, where ice falls, all
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah, we'll definitely do, I think, the downtown areas. And
Yeah, so that one will be specifically more High Street, and then Evansdale, like engineering campus. We wanted to do kind of a smaller area because this is my first year coordinating this, so I wanted to learn the ropes first before I took on like the bigger tasks.
Well, this is great. What you did is great, and what you will do is is wonderful as well. And I think it's important that you are doing this often into the evening, because lighting makes an area feel completely different than how it does during the day. And
Yes, definitely.
what you can see and what kind of trips you up is a little bit different.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to kind of see a little bit of both. And I think what we need to do is make sure that we have more action so that the same button is not broken this year than last year.
Yeah.
Or we've been talking today about sometimes if the buttons can't be kept working, if the signal can just automatically change on an interval so that you don't have to have a working button. So whichever way people choose to make that work, it would be good if it was working.
It would
so
be
that
good.
it wasn't so frustrating.
Yeah, well, I believe the city a few years ago implemented the flashing light crosswalks,
Yes.
which I think we thanked you guys for last year, but definitely those are still very helpful, so thank you guys again for
And
those.
those were a partnership between the university and the county and the city, and people pooling money and pooling resources and the ability to get those all set up. So
They're definitely worth it.
yeah, I thought it was really neat that people work together to make that happen, and the more that we can do that, the better. Then we can stretch our scarce resources.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, I have a question real quick. The sidewalks you were talking about over at Irma Bird and Health Sciences, are those a lot of the WVU would have to repair those?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
We, on HSC, we really wanted to focus, it was really weird with that campus, just because things were WVU, things were Ruby, I didn't,
Right.
you know.
I was
so,
wondering the same thing.
Yeah, and I definitely wanted to make sure that that was WVU, because I felt like that would be an easier ask.
Yeah.
They would be more responded to that.
So have you guys went to them with this presentation and actually talked to them about which sidewalks need and?
Yeah, so I'm in a couple like safety subcommittee groups. So there's actually one meeting on Thursday where we're going to give the presentation, and then I already met with one who we've sent the information out
Because
to.
they seem to be really good about getting
Yeah.
repairs done pretty quick.
Yeah, I think so too.
And you can repair sidewalks, you don't have to always replace them. So like on High Street, for a long time, there were a lot of them that were buckled, but they can kind of grind them, which I didn't realize until a couple years ago. And so you can remind people that they don't always have to replace it, that they might be able to grind it down and make it work for a few years so you get the
I think that's what needs to happen, especially in Sunnyside. That's what mostly they are. It's
Yeah.
just like kind of uneven. So
The Grand Avenue one that is the one you're referring to that's popped up.
yeah, there's a couple spots where it's uneven, and then there's a couple spots where really somebody just needs to go in with a shovel and scoop some grass off.
Yeah.
That would honestly work. So
Thank you guys, you're wonderful.
Thank you so much
thank
for
you.
your time.
Thank you all.
Now we move on to the public portion. So when you are coming up here, you can state your name and your address, and then you have your opportunity to speak. And we know that your name is on there because we saw you write it down.
Name is on here. Good evening, everyone. I'm Marty Schamberger. I live at 812 Ridgeway Avenue. I'm excited to be here to invite council to Friday evening at the History Museum to come enjoy an evening with the Service League, who's celebrating 90 years in our community, and the 230th anniversary of the Old Stone House. So the History Museum has put out all kinds of artifacts. The Old Stone House was famous for their hospitality, throughout the years. So there'll be spiced tea and tea sandwiches and cookies. And the exhibit will be up through May 31st. So I wanted to come down personally and invite you. I've been a member for over 35 years, and the Service League owns and maintains the Old Stone House, and everybody that works there, it's all volunteer power, and our proceeds go back to the community. So please, if you have a few minutes, if you'll stop down.
What time does it begin?
It's from 6 to 9 at the History Museum. And my other thing, I just wanted to say, I was just going to pop in here, thinking I could pop out, but the presentations this evening were wonderful. I'm so glad to see the Eye Institute being developed, as excuse me, as well as what is happening downtown. I think we have a lot to be proud of. But I also wanted to say thank you to the city manager for all the snow plowing and the endless work your crews did. We really appreciated it. I know there are some complaints in there, but I think the appreciation by residents would be more than the complaints. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do you want this?
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Catherine Carter. I'm a Destination Development Coordinator with the CVB, so I guess my address is 341 Chaplin Road. I am here, we're going to start coming in a little bit more regularly to do some CVB updates, just give you guys updates on what we have going on. We really want to try to open the door of communication more with the city of Morgantown than it already is, and I feel like one way to do that is by coming and let you guys know what resources we have and some of the updates that we have going on. So I know you guys are probably all presentationed out, so I'm going to try to be as fast as possible, but I sent out an email this morning to you all with a Monongalia County wayfinding meeting. A couple of you guys have RSVP'd yes. We would love to see as many of you guys there as possible. About a year ago, we brought this idea to some of our tourism partners and some of our municipalities, and it was like opening Pandora's box. So we are, a year later, finally ready to start seeing how we can support this project, and we started off with a Monongalia County wayfinding meeting. It's on March 21st at 11:30 at the Hilton Garden Inn. If you can RSVP, we'd love that just for space purposes, but there's a couple municipalities coming, some of our tourism partners, and we'll have some people there who are expert wayfinders as well to help us out.
Pardon, where is that?
It's at the Hilton Garden Inn in their meeting room on March 21st at 11:30 a.m. And if you didn't get the invite, feel free to let me know. I know a couple of you guys have RSVP'd, so feel free to pass it around. And if there's anyone who you think would benefit from being there, let us know, and we can share it, or you guys are welcome to forward the invite to everyone as well. But
Did you just send that email?
I sent it out this morning around like 9:30. And then secondly, another thing you might have seen in your inbox recently, we just launched and sent out the press release for something called Mountaineer Gravel. This has been one of the biggest projects that the CVB has worked on in the past 8 years. It's been a huge undertaking, and it's something that we're really, really proud of and excited for. It basically packages and promotes our outdoor recreation assets. It's 28 gravel routes, and I need to reference my notes really fast to make sure I get it right. It's a digital guidebook consisting of 28 gravel trail biking routes spanning over 1,000 miles of public property. So it includes 7 regional hubs. One of those is Morgantown. I'm not the expert on this matter, so if anyone needs any more information on that, reach out to us and we can get you any information you need on that. But we'll be up here more as we promote this to share more that we have. We are going to be doing a presentation on it and showing everyone how it can support the businesses in the area and how people can go explore these trails at our Mountaineer Country Tourism Summit on May 5th. We would love to see you guys there as well, and I'll be back promoting that at a later date too. But if anyone has any questions about gravel trails, we're happy to answer them via phone or email once we have the information for you. And then lastly, as you guys may know, we've been working with the city of Morgantown and the municipal airport with their new air service. We have been trying to figure out how we can make the visitor experience the easiest as possible. You know, we have free parking, you're able to get in and out really fast, but we want to make sure that people, if they're getting in on a midnight flight, that their arrival to their hotel and wherever they're trying to go is smooth and seamless. So we are taking all feedback that we can regarding the Morgantown airport. If anyone takes a flight, I listened to a city council meeting a couple weeks back, and I can't remember who it was, but someone did take a flight, and loved their experience, so we love to hear that. And any feedback that you guys have from residents or from visitors, we would love to hear it so that we can make sure that we're addressing those concerns or playing into the things that are working out really well. So it's been going really well. I know he can probably speak better to all of this than I can, but we did work on, we're helping out on promotions as we can. We did a rack card recently, so I'm going to stick this down. We do stock your stand down there. I noticed there's a spot empty, perfect for this rack card, so if anyone wants one of them, feel free to go down there and grab them. But those are just some of the things that we have going on at the CVB. We'll be back in a couple of months to let you guys know more that we have going on, but we're always open to opportunities with the city of Morgantown and working with you guys. And thank you. Thank you guys for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you. And you can know that you can have space on the agenda if you would like to at any time.
Yeah, I know. We're trying to make it a little like informal.
But if you're
just
doing
stop
an
by,
informal
yeah.
thing, that works too. All right. Is there anyone else wishing to speak during the public portion? Anyone's welcome to speak. You do not have to live in the city limits. You do have to stick to some sort of city topic. That would be appreciated, but there we go. Now we have items for discussion. I was supposed to do the gavel to start and the gavel to end, but here we are. Items for discussion. An ordinance authorizing an MOU among the City Building Commission and WVU Hospitals Incorporated, and ask our city attorney to lead us through this one.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. This ordinance and the exhibits to it will accomplish the property transfer that was described in the presentation from WVU Hospitals to Council earlier. You saw on the depiction of the project site that the current access road to the north side fire station is proposed to be relocated, and also that there will be a pedestrian bridge constructed over top of it between the new Eye Institute and the parking garage. That property is currently owned by the Morgantown Building Commission as part of the Northside Fire Station property that was constructed with Series 2013 Building Commission lease revenue bonds. So in order to accomplish the relocation of the roadway, we need approval of the holder of those bonds to relocate the access road, to amend its security interest, its deed of trust against that property, and also the approval of City Council and the Building Commission to transfer a portion of that property to WVU Hospitals, accept the transfer of the newly dedicated access roadway from WVU Hospitals, and provide for the parties' ongoing use of that property with access easements, utility easements, and the aerial easement for that pedestrian bridge. The WVU Hospital staff have been working in coordination with the city staff, especially Engineering and Public Works, Development Services, and the Fire Department throughout their design of this project to ensure that it preserves all appropriate uses for the fire station in particular. The Fire Department leadership has approved the design and the documents and is comfortable that they will be able to maintain access and operations at all times, so this will not impact services. The bondholder has agreed that this doesn't impair their collateral and that the relocation of the roadway is appropriate. So we would ask that council move this forward to an agenda. In parallel with council's readings of this on its scheduled for its February 4th and 18th meetings, the Building Commission will meet and hear parallel versions of these documents and authorize those at the February 4th and 18th meetings as well.
All right. So are there any questions, or do we want to just move this forward to those specific agendas?
Move it.
All
I
right.
think we got a good amount of information.
Pardon?
I think we got a good amount of information.
Yeah, I think we did too. Thank you very much. We
Thank
will
you,
move it
Council.
forward. Now we have item B is an ordinance amending the city charter to use gender-neutral language, something that we have been talking about for a while. City Attorney?
Yes, Deputy Mayor. This ordinance is a follow-up to council's earlier review and proposal of certain ordinances to amend provisions of the charter last fall. One of the items that the council wanted to move forward as a charter amendment by ordinance was to replace language that referred to certain city officials as he or him and use it in use inclusive language instead to encompass all the people who might be serving in those roles. We did not present that ordinance to council at that time because we wanted to wait and see what other ordinances were passed and make sure that the language coordinated, that we weren't changing language in the charter twice. And so now that those the work on those other ordinances has been done, you're ready to put this ordinance in place. When I went back through to make those changes, I think there was only one section that had already been changed, so that's been removed from this draft. So this will generally replace the the language used in the charter with general terms so that it includes everybody who might serve in those city roles. This is a proposed ordinance amendment by charter, so if council moves this forward to a first reading on February 4th, we would have publish a 30-day notice of a public hearing and then have your second reading scheduled for March 4th.
Once again, another very complete explanation. Is there anything that anyone wants to say about that? All right, well then we will move that forward with your approval to the agenda. Item C, an ordinance providing for the zoning reclassification of certain portions of parcels of real estate in the 6th Ward of the City of Morgantown, Tax District 14, Tax Map 31, Parcel 16, commonly known as 11 Hartman Run Road, from R1A, Single Family Residential District, and a B2 Service Business District to a B2 Service Business District, amending Article 1331 of the Planning and Zoning Code of the City of Morgantown, is shown in the exhibit hereto attached and declared to be part of this ordinance as if the same were fully set forth within. And our planner's here.
Good evening, Deputy Mayor, members of
Ricky.
council. Thank you very much. Hope you're all doing well. With respect to this ordinance, to provide a little bit of context, Woodward Development has submitted plans to redevelop the intersection of Hartman Run and Earl Cole Roads. More specifically, the developer intends to construct a 2,000 square foot building on the northeasterly portion of the site for a new medical cannabis dispensary. In doing so, the developer has worked with the city's planning commission to secure site plan approval for the project and variance relief from the city's Board of Zoning Appeals. As part of the plan review process, the developer submitted a minor subdivision application to divide the existing lot into 2 parcels of land, and that subdivision request was unanimously approved as amended by the Planning Commission in December of 2024, and is working with the property owner to get it recorded now. In addition to the minor subdivision application, the developer applied to rezone the newly formed parcel of land from a split zone non-conforming lot to a B2 Service Business District. The parcel of land to be rezoned is approximately 2.3 acres and is bound by Hartman Run Road to the southeast and Mineral Avenue to the northwest. And in your packet, you have an exhibit that kind of shows what that rezoning looks like. Right now, currently, the upper portion, because of the change in topography, is zoned the R1A district. The lower half is zoned B2, and the request is to rezone it all to B2. After review, the Planning Commission found the proposal to be in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan and unanimously voted to forward a recommendation to City Council to approve the proposed map amendment as presented. That concludes that report.
Does anybody have any questions? How about we move it forward to the agenda?
Great. Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our airport director, this is an ordinance authorizing a commercial lease and operating agreement with Shaft Drillers International at the Morgantown Municipal Airport.
Hi.
Our favorite place to fly from.
We're very excited about this lease agreement coming forward to you. Shaft Drillers is a local company to the Morgantown area. Their principal offices are actually in Mount Morris, PA. They use our airport many times a week. They have 3 corporate jets that they currently fly. They also have 2 helicopters. Their aircraft are currently in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, managed by a aircraft management company. They would like to have those aircraft relocated to Morgantown to where it's more efficient for them to be able to use. Most of the folks live in the Morgantown area. Even though their office is in Mount Morris, most of them live here. One of them actually lives right down the street from me, so they're all over our community. Use it all the time. So they're interested in building a hangar at our airport. The hangar would be located adjacent to the Airport Rescue and Firefighting Building and administrative offices. So if you're coming to the airport, we currently have the new hangar that was just built in that same area, just to the south of the building. This one will be adjacent to the building. This will wind up being the largest hangar at our airport. It is bigger than all the other hangars that we currently have, so it'll wind up being the largest hangar that will be at the property. They are looking for a 40-year lease because they're estimating it's going to cost close to $12 million to build. So they need the time to depreciate the asset. This agreement will bring the airport just a little over $11,000 a year in a land lease. And then at the end of the 40-year period, the building does revert to our ownership.
Do we have any questions? We are having some very thorough presentations this evening. All right, so how about we move it to the agenda?
Let's move it to the agenda.
All right, we're
Thank you.
moving it to the agenda. You're welcome, thank you. We don't have any kind of comments this evening, but if anybody has any kind of an announcement about something that's timely, feel free to make that now. And then we are, somebody want to help adjourn?
Move to adjourn. Sorry, Joe.
Okay. We stand adjourned.
We don't have executive.